Okay, it's recording. All right. Welcome, everybody. It's Fabulous Wednesday in April. I can't believe it's already April. Easter has come and gone. Oh my gosh, summer's going to be here before we know it, which is going to add a bunch more challenges if you've got little ones at home. I'm excited to have Hayley DeJock, who is a longtime friend of mine. We've known each other for probably like 18 years, 19 years.
Since we're about 5, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, since before we had any kids. So
Right.
That's a long time. So our oldest kids were born within just a few days of each other. About 16 years ago. So our husbands were in the same P3 squadron in Jacksonville, and that's how we originally met. So we've kind of stayed in touch, sort of, ever since. Hayley came and visited us here in Memphis, and we've always loved her and her family, and Al, love him. So I want to tell you a little bit about Hayley's Plexus story. Hayley started sharing Plexus before she even tried the products, and I'm sure she'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But she joined at the end of August of 2013. Now listen to this. She turned silver. Okay, I'm getting feedback, so I'm going to mute you guys. Okay. Can you still hear me? Okay, great. Okay. All right. So she joined at the end of August in 2013 and turned silver the next month in September, turned gold in November, turned senior gold in December, and then turned ruby in January. This is crazy, right? Senior ruby in February, emerald in April, and that's when I decided to get off my butt and do something about this. And then she turned sapphire in June and diamond the following April of 2015. So Hayley has an incredible journey. She's had incredible success with the business, and she's one to watch and stay plugged into as you work your own business, because she's done everything, everything. She might say not everything, but everything right in the business. And she's very deliberate in how she runs her business. She's balanced. She's got a family. She's got 3 teenage daughters and a husband who's still in the military. So she maintains a good balance, and she provides excellent leadership for all of us. So I want to welcome Hayley and turn it over to you. I know you have a little bit to say, and then we're going to open it up to the questions that you all have asked. So let me
Awesome. I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know how to do this a lot better than I do.
Yeah. I'm pretty well versed at Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super excited to be here to see some of your team members. And thank you to those of you who made it today. I know your time is valuable, and we appreciate you being here. But I love you guys. Like Kristin said, we've been friends forever. It seems like, because you don't really remember your life without kids anyway, right? And we really enjoy working together, and I love her team. I know she is a fabulous leader and is always providing great training for you guys. So you're definitely blessed and in the right spot. But I want to encourage you guys to really, like Kristin says, be deliberate in your business and really focus on those people that you want to join you, the people that have those good characteristics. And we're going to, she shared with me some of the great questions we're going to go over, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. But guys, anybody can do this. It's just what you're willing to do. And, this is not for everyone. Our products, our business opportunity, and working this business is not for everyone. And that was something, I hope this doesn't answer one of my questions, but that was something I had to learn early on, is I couldn't understand why everybody didn't jump on this train when I was having success, and it was working really well for me. And there's so much opportunity here, and you have to learn to bless and release some people that, some people don't want to change. They don't want to have success. crazy to me. But all you can do is worry about yourself, your business, what you're doing, what you've set for yourself. You guys have a great team. Like I said, I know so many of you are fabulous. I have talked to many of you one-on-one, and I just know that there is so much potential here. And I want you guys to really seize this opportunity and realize what you have. So, you're muted. There we go.
Thank you. Okay, so we're just going to dive right in. This question comes from Jen Cunningham. She said, how do you share Plexus effectively without your own great testimony? I know you can relate to that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is something that I did from the start. I shared about Plexus before I had even tasted it. And I didn't say, oh my gosh, this is great. It's done this and this for me. I shared what I hoped it was going to do for me and what it was doing for my friends that I was watching. I'm a huge skeptic. Like, you have to prove everything you tell me. I don't easily believe, and I always think everybody's out, you know, with some underlying agenda out in the world. So I'm very cautious, and I was very cautious before I jumped into this. But I did not have a testimony. Just put it out there on Facebook. Hey, I'm super excited to try this. I have some friends that have been using it, and they have seen da-da-da-da, and I'm really excited. Who wants to join me? Who wants to give it a try? And I was shocked at the amount of friends that jumped in that, you know, I was just looking for something to be a little happier and healthier. I was the heaviest I'd ever been. I was not happy. I was tired all the time. I had been to the doctor repeatedly to have blood work done because I was like, something is wrong. I wake up tired. I go to bed tired. I just want to lay on the couch all day. You know, that's not normal. And I was just desperately looking for something. And I'm really grateful that I was as desperate as I was, because this is not something I would have normally even paid any attention to, was something like this. So you have to realize you will never have in this business and with these products, you will never have the exact same testimony as anybody else. There are people out there that use our products for health issues, and maybe they have stomach issues, or maybe they have some kind of pain, or, you know, people use our products for a plethora of reasons. And I can never say these products worked for my stomach issues because I didn't have stomach issues, but I have friends who these products work great for their stomach issues. So just know that no matter what your testimony is, it's never going to be the same as anybody else's. So it doesn't matter if you have a testimony, because I can say, oh my gosh, I lost 17 pounds in 11 weeks and I had more energy, but that doesn't guarantee that somebody else is going to lose 17 pounds in 11 weeks and have more energy, even if I have a great testimony. Mm-hmm. So just know, you just share what works for you. And there are so many people on our team that have great testimonies that you can rely on. You know, when somebody comes to me and says, hey, I struggle with this, this, and this, and I say, oh my gosh, I have a friend, she's on my team, she's been using these products for 2 years, has the same issue. Let me reach out to her, ask her what she uses, when she started seeing relief, you know, what she started with, what her regimen is, and then I'll get back to you. And that's kind of how I do everything, because like I said, I'm not going to have that issue. So I have no testimony, nor will I ever have a testimony of that. So it really is discouraging when somebody signs up and says, well, I'm going to wait and see what these products do for me for the next 30 or 60 days. I'm like, you can wait for the next 2 years, because no matter what your testimony is, it doesn't guarantee that that's going to help somebody else decide to use these products.
I totally agree. I do the same thing. I feel like our job is to connect people's problems with what Plexus has to offer for a solution. And everybody's problems are different, but so many women, especially our age, are struggling with an imbalance. And that is really what Plexus can help, is, you know, the feelings of being exhausted all the time. I think when you have kids, especially, it like sucks the life out of you. It's something. So, you know, to be able to give your body what it needs can really improve the quality of life for somebody. But right. I talk to, you know, young men, old men. I help dogs. I certainly don't share a testimony with a dog, and I can still help them. So yeah, I agree. You don't have to have some amazing testimony, but I'll tell you, if you have, I think, and Hayley, you might agree or disagree, if you have potential for an amazing testimony, imagine what that looks like if you use the products and let them work for you and have the amazing testimony, whether it be a weight loss or a health turnaround. And then so you're getting paid to get better, to be a better version of yourself or to improve your own health, and then sharing that testimony. So,
right. And I will tell you, like the first 2 or 3 weeks I was on the products, I think I maybe lost a handful of pounds in itself, but that was because I was eating so poorly and not moving during the day because I was so tired. But I just would have people see me and say, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Like you look so, you're like glowing, or you look happier, or you just look so much better. What is it that you've done differently? And they didn't say, oh, you look like you lost 5 pounds or, whatever it is. So I definitely think it's that. I feel like once you get more balanced and you get to where you feel better, that just radiates from you.
Oh, I agree. I always say plexus turns back the hands of time, and it makes you look younger. It makes you look refreshed. And if you can let the products work for you and change your habits to improve your habits, I mean, the health benefits are amazing. When I started, I gained weight. I remember, you remember me texting you being like, I'm gaining weight. And you said, really? Are you joking? I was like, I have a whole nother story, but anyway. Okay. This question comes from Melissa. She's on, I can't see her, but she's definitely on. What has been the greatest struggle you have had to overcome in order to be successful? And how long did it take you to overcome it?
I'm still overcoming, but it's definitely realizing that not everybody, and business related, not everybody works like I work, and not everybody wants what I want in this business. That has, I think, been the biggest struggle for me, because I kind of thought, when I was started getting a nice paycheck, I was like, oh my gosh, why is everybody else not jumping on board? And when I got my first car, I was like, look, I got a Lexus. Okay, now everybody's going to want to join me because everybody wants a free Lexus, right? I really thought that was what motivated everybody, because that's what motivates me. And I had to learn that, not only do people think differently and work differently and want different things, not everybody wants to go to the top of the company. Some people just want to make $1,000 a month or $100 a month, and they're completely happy with what effort they put in for that. And I think it's that, and knowing, like I said kind of earlier, is not everybody wants to change no matter what they say, and not everybody wants to be happier and healthier. They may say, oh yes, I'd love to lose weight and I'd love to, not be in the same rut. But there's some people that they don't want to get out of that, like that's their identity. And they can start, I had somebody, I remember the very first person, and the only person that I know up to this day that utilized the 60-day money back guarantee. She came to me, she had been using the products for a month and a half, and said, this was very early on for me, and said, I'm not losing anything. I'm not feeling any better. These products just aren't doing it for me. And I kind of, we started going through the troubleshooting, and I was like, we talked about her diet, which was horrible. But come to find out, she was drinking, I say a bottle of wine a night. She said 3, maybe 4 glasses. So to me, that's a bottle. And she was also taking some medication. And I said, well, can you do me a favor and not drink the wine for 3 days? Just 3 days, don't drink the wine at night, and see if that makes a difference, because, that is so much sugar. And even though you're balancing your sugars and all that, you're just pouring it right back in. So we're kind of defeating what you're working on. And in 3 days, she lost 4 pounds and said, I feel fabulous, but I'm not willing to give up my wine. And she returned her products and got her money back. So when that happened, that was kind of an eye-opener for me, because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you saw in 3 days what could happen. But she wanted, that wine was her crutch or her life, or what made her feel great, her comfort. And I just had to realize that there are people out there that, even if they have great results in the products, even if the products work for them, that may not be what they want in their life. So
I've seen the same thing. And another thing that I've seen, which makes me sad, is women who try to work the business initially and then are immediately presented with objections or resistance. Mm-hmm. And they aren't willing to deal with the resistance that comes from usually the people they love the most, their close friends, their family, who are critical or are uncomfortable with this person trying to make more for themselves or better their lives. And they can't get through that. They're like, nope, not for me.
And I see that a lot because somebody will sign up and you say, okay, let's start thinking about those 3 people that are going to help you go silver. And they'll initially think, mom, sister, cousin, best friend, and they'll go talk to those 5 or 6 people. And if none of them jump on board, they are instantly defeated. Like, it's like nobody, and they'll come to me and say, nobody wants this. Nobody wants to try this with me. Nobody wants these products. And I'm like, but wait, you talked to 6 people? How can you say nobody does, Mm-hmm. So, but that's exactly it, because they feel like they're being personally rejected if it's their closest confidants.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. My mom supports she loves the products, but I have 2 sisters and 3 sister-in-laws, and none of them will even try the first product. And I'm like, what does that say about my relationship with you? I mean, we love each other, we're friends, but they were like, no.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, I don't get it. And I don't worry about it either. It doesn't affect my business.
Right.
Move on. So, okay. This question is from Kim Nordine, who's on the call. What are some things we can do to get unstuck when it seems like our warm market is tapped? What should or can we do? She gets this question a lot.
I was going to say, I know Kim's not asking that personally, because I feel like she's a great worker and a great recruiter. And a lot of the times when people say they're stuck, it's kind of like I just talked about, where they go talk to their 6 closest friends, or when people say their warm market is exhausted, I usually say it's not your warm market, it's your easy market. It's those people that you talk to easily, the people that you feel like you can pick up the phone or email or message. It's not the people like the Kristins who, we were great friends, but maybe we hadn't talked in 6 months, or maybe we hadn't even commented on each other's Facebook status in 8 months. Those are still your warm market friends, but they're not as easy for you to approach. So people really aren't stuck. They're in that comfort zone, and they have to kind of start moving out of that and start working on that market that's a little bit harder to connect with. They have to be intentional. I start telling them, find the people, make your list. And I honestly, y'all, I never to this day made a list of 100 people. I always made a list of like the top 20 that I was focusing on, that I was intentional on. And I was very cautious about that list. When I went through maybe my Facebook friends or my email contacts, or just racked my brain, I only wrote down those 20 people. I may have thought of 150 people, but I only wrote down those 20 that I wanted to focus on, because I'm one of those people, you can't give me too much at one time. I need to focus. But I say find those people and really focus on connecting with them. Focus on commenting on their Facebook statuses, or emailing them, or catching up with them, or going to lunch with them if it's somebody local that you haven't seen in a while. And really be intentional on building those relationships, and then Plexus is going to come up. Don't say, oh, let's go to lunch, and then sit down and say, okay, great, I brought all my Plexus stuff, I can't wait to tell you all about it. That's not why they're there. They're there to build that relationship with you. And then, you're going to talk about what you do on a day-to-day basis. You're going to talk about what's going on in your life and how much better you feel, and this side business you have, and things like that. So people aren't really stuck as much as they're having to get a little uncomfortable, and they're not willing to kind of ease into that. And that's something I kind of feel like, because I'm an introvert, I've had to do from day one in this business, because I'm never comfortable, interacting with people or in social situations or things like that, unless it is my small circle. So I've always had to push myself, because I could see the reward. Because, I worked it really fast, and I was able to see the reward early on. If I did A, B was going to happen. Okay, I can suck it up. I can do A repeatedly, and then I'm going to get B. So that's what I tend to have have the people that say they're stuck or they've exhausted their warm market. We kind of sit down and make a list of 20 influential, charismatic people that they feel would be self-driven, self-starting, really great business builders. And we start focusing on that.
Yeah. I totally agree. And, you know, another thing is we spend a lot of time thinking about our business and not taking action. And thinking about our business is great, but that doesn't lead to anything other than thoughts. So, or ideas but you have to implement and take action. I always say action cures everything. I mean, if you sat down and did, concentrated action, we called it massive action for you don't have to do it for a month. Like Bob Heilig says, you can do it for an hour once a week and have amazing results. And learning the process, I'm getting more and more connected. I'm like you, I'm an introvert. I'm not interested in small talk. People have described me as more of a dude, which I don't want to be a dude, but I understand what they're saying. And I know Melissa's cringing because she hates it when I say that about myself. But, I'm just not into this. I don't know. God blessed me with 4 boys. And I think he was smart enough to realize that, it's hard for me to what I'm trying to say is I can relate to men easier than I can relate to women. So anyway, I've had to really develop that skill of conversation and relationship building. And when I get in a one-on-one, which is mainly how I work my business, is sit down coffee, for coffee. I've yet to order coffee, but we have coffee. And I almost make them beg me to tell them about Plexus. I mean, I don't talk about it at all. I am all about them and what are you doing and tell me more about that and more. And then, eventually they want to know what I'm doing. And it makes them feel so good to be the center of the conversation, especially up front. If you start talking about Plexus right off the bat, all you're doing is raising a wall of resistance. So I think, like you said, you got to get out of your comfort zone, develop skills that you might not have naturally, and take action, and then you'll get unstuck. So.
No, I absolutely agree. And, it's funny is my husband is extrovert, Mr. Talkative. It takes him like 20 minutes to tell you a story about what happened when he would take the garbage can up, but I've been having to teach him that though, because I'm like, I'm just naturally very vague and not super open unless I'm sitting there with one of my best friends. And so when people ask me about the products or the business opportunity or something about what I do, I am very vague and I'm very short. And I kind of get them to that point of curiosity where if they want to know more, they're going to come to me. So, and we'll be out and somebody will ask me something and I'll answer and he'll be like, why didn't you tell him this? And why didn't you tell him I've lost 50 pounds? And why didn't you tell him that it's done this for my cholesterol? And why haven't you told him this? And why didn't you tell him about this product and this product? And I'm like, hey, if I sat there and told them every wonderful thing that I wanted to, first of all, I'd talk for about 45 minutes, but then they'd be scared to death to ask me another question because they'll be like, well, I really want to know this, but if I ask her, my gosh, she's going to talk for 45 minutes, So like you said, I gear it toward them, and then I can deduct from there by their questions what direction we need to go, what we need to talk about in the beginning that's going to pertain to them, rather than me telling them about the triplex when really maybe they need the ease combo. Mm-hmm. And, spending all this unnecessary time, but making them curious and intrigued and wanting to know more.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. Okay, this question comes from Susan. She's on the call. How do you set goals for yourself, and what is the best way to break your goals down into manageable chunks?
Oh, I've always been a goal setter, and even before Plexus, and I didn't know how well it was going to serve me when I started this business, but I've always I start with my long-term goals, break it down to my quarterly goals, then monthly goals, then weekly, daily. I've always done that. So when I started this business, of course, my goal was not to go diamond. My goal was not to be a jewel. I didn't really think this was going to do much. My goal was to make the $100 I was going to get for turning silver. Like, I didn't even bother to learn the compensation plan. I just said, oh, I can sign 3 people up and get $100. I'd like to have $100. And then I gradually went from there and realized the potential. So I would up my long-term goal each time. Each time I hit one, I would up, the long-term goal, and I had to readjust. But I always recommend that you sit down and you say, where do I want to be in a year in this business? Mm-hmm. And for some people, that's turning gold. And for some people, that's turning diamond. It's what you want out of this business, but you need to sit down and decide what you want in this business and then kind of work your way backwards. Okay, well, if I want to be gold in a year, that's, 100 points, then each quarter I need to have so many points and add so many team members and do so much there. And then you're going to be able to break it down to your daily goals and, what you need to do each day to reach those weekly goals to make that monthly goal happen. And once you kind of get your system down, it's very easy to know, like if you only have 15 minutes in a day, then you know what you have to work on because you know what your goal is for each and every day. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, you need to connect with your team members, your strong team members, and know what their goals are. Not because it's like, all right, are you working? I need to know if you're working. I need to know, hold you accountable. It's not for that reason as much as it is that I didn't realize most people don't write their goals down. Like one of those things, I thought everybody did that. Why would you not, right? I like to see it in black and white. But if somebody has their goals written down, if they have a plan and they know where they're headed, if life gets in the way and their time is limited in their Plexus business, they're not spending that 15, 30 minutes that they have every other day, maybe, like trying to figure out, oh, what should I be doing? Should I be doing follow-up? Should I be doing this? They're like, okay, my goal this month is to add 3 people. So I'm going to go out there and work for adding 3 people in my 30 minutes. You need to just really, get a plan, a game plan. And you can't just say, oh, I want to be gold. Well, what does it take for me to be gold? And how am I going to make that happen? Maybe I add 3 people each and every month, but I'm going to have to count on some attrition. Not everybody's going to stay on board and not everybody's going to be successful. So maybe I have to count 1 person leaving each month. So maybe I need to try to add 4 or 5 just to make up for that. And it's always a great thing to sit down with your upline and kind of say, this is what I want out of this business. What, do you recommend? Because usually your upline has been there and done that and kind of knows the system. I've always taught like kind of milestone months where even if you don't think you're going to promote, like let's say your goal in the next 2 months is to turn gold, but it won't be next month, but it may be the month after that. Well, the next month you at least need so many points. Like you need to set that milestone and treat that milestone like that promotion. Because if you just kind of say, well, I'm turning gold in 2 months and you kind of work it like that, you may be pushing it really hard at the end. Whereas if the next month, oh, well, I need to end this month with 75 points or I'm not going to be on track, then you're going to push for those 75 points and not have to wonder where you're going to end up the following month. I seriously could talk about goals like all day long, y'all. Like that is a huge passion of mine. But really, it's really just putting it on paper, sitting down with somebody that knows and making a game plan to get yourself there. And if you have a team, I always recommend you get with your leaders and say, tell me what your goals are, where you hope to be, and what you think you can accomplish this month. Because often, people will say, well, I told my leaders that I expect them to, recruit 3 ambassadors and recruit 3 customers. And I'm kind of like, why don't you put it in their hands? Because when I've done that, I'm shocked. Like some people, I'll be like, okay, well, if I was picking her goals, I would say she's going to recruit 4 this month, but she may come to me and say, I'm going to recruit 10. Well, of course, if she wants to recruit 10, let's go for it. But, put it in their hands. Let them be the one that decides where they want to be and what they're willing to give to this business. Maybe this month they have more time to work their business, so they're expecting more out of themselves than they were the previous month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always been a goal setter too. And I think and on the first day of every month, I set my goals for the month. And then, I work until I reach the goals. And sometimes I don't reach them. So I adjust, and think about where I could have done better, or maybe my goals were just ridiculously out of reach or whatever. But like, you can think of it this way. Say you have to go work in your yard. Okay. It's a big job to go work in your yard, pull all your weeds, trim all your bushes, mow the grass. Well, if that's your goal, is to have your yard looking good, you have to do A, B, C, and D to reach that goal. And in this business, you can't just say, I want to be gold. That's like saying, I want my yard to be beautiful, without doing A, B, C, and D. And A, B, and C, and D are very specific tasks that you do over and over and over. So you have to put in the work to reach the goals. You just can't have otherwise it's like wishing, I just wish that something's going to happen. And this is a challenging business because our goals are sometimes based on the actions of other people. So you also have to try to motivate and inspire, and it's voluntary. So
right.
There's a lot of factors that are involved. But goal setting, if you don't have a goal, how do you know which way you're going? You can spin your wheels forever. So I'm all about goal setting too. Love it.
Right. And I also recommend that everybody have their DMO or their IPA or whatever you want to call it. It's something you do every single day. And if at all possible, if you're able and blessed to be able to work your business, even 15 minutes a day. And, if you can work your business, have that set and start from day one. I mean, that's another thing I'm really big on is habits. And if you notice your habits you've grown up with, like, how many of you actually think every single morning when you get out of bed, oh, I'm going to walk into the bathroom and brush my teeth, and I'm going to pick up my toothbrush, and I'm going to put my toothpaste on there, and then I'm going, however you do it, but you don't think about it. Why? Because it is so ingrained in you as a habit. You just do it. You do it usually at the same time each and every day and the same way. You don't, do it differently each and every day. And that's, if you can start in this business doing your daily activities the same, like say when you first start, okay, your goal is to post on Facebook twice, to reach out to 5 people, and to follow up with 3 people. And that's pretty big goals or pretty big daily activity for somebody brand new, that many people. But when your team starts to grow, I often see people say, oh, okay, well, I'm still going to post on Facebook twice a day, but now I need to spend the rest of the time with my team members and make sure that they're on track. That's not how you do it. What you do, you continue with those exact same things you've done every single day that are making you successful, those habits, and then you add to them. You say, okay, well, now I need to post twice on Facebook and reach out to 5 people, follow up with 3, and connect with 1 team member today, or, reach out to 1 team member today, whatever it is. But don't alter that routine that made you successful, because I start seeing that. And then people are like, well, things just aren't going like they were. No, because you're not doing what you were. It's all about the action. And, that's why if you notice corporate throws incentives out there every now and again, what happens in those months? Oh my gosh, right? Like, do we not have crazy growth or crazy sales or whatever? Because everybody's working hard and you see the results. Like, if you want that incentive, if you want to earn whatever it is, whether it's a bonus or an item, if you work hard that month, it's going to happen. But you see, oh, last month I was able to recruit 6 people and I had 3 new customers. You can do the same thing each and every month if you put in the same amount of work. And that's where, it sometimes doesn't stay the same, because somebody's like, well, I worked really hard last month and I don't know that I want to go at that same pace, which is fine. But it depends on how successful you want to be and how fast.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree. So Carissa asks on here, are there sample goal sheets? Example, what would it take to get to gold? Yeah, there are. And I'll share some on our team page. There's diagrams, and not everybody's diagram will look the same, but there's diagrams where you can establish goal organizations, like, okay, who are my runners and how many are they going to bring, to the team? And also there's goal sheets, some really good ones in the planner that we were able to earn last year. So maybe I can make copies of those and send them your way. I'll share them. Okay. This is from Pam. She is doing great. She's on the call. What do you say or do when you have people who you have talked to, they seem interested, and then they ignore you and keep ignoring you?
Oh, we all get those people. And you know what? I give them the benefit of the doubt because I'm right there with them a lot of the times. You know, you get those emails from school or the PTO or this or that, and you're like, you look at it, you think about it, and then you kind of forget it, right? And I am the worst at like mentally responding. I'll see a text when I'm driving and I'll mentally respond, and then somebody will text me 2 days later and be like, did you get my text? Did you get my message? And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. And I could have swore I wrote you back. But so I usually give them the benefit of the doubt that, you know, maybe when they contacted me, it was off season for their kids' sports and their husband wasn't working a lot of overtime and they weren't getting ready for their kid's birthday party. Well, then when I got back to them and when they were getting ready to sign up, well, now it's sports activities every night and their husband's working overtime and they're getting ready for their kid's birthday party and their mother-in-law's coming in town. You know, we've all been there. Life gets in the way. I know it took me 4 months before I reached out to my friend about Plexus. And granted, while I did reach out to her, it did take me a long time. It took me a while to think about it. And it wasn't a high priority in my life. I did not wake up every morning saying, I need to talk to somebody about this Plexus stuff. You know, I had to really wait for the time that was right for me and had to really think about it. So, like I said, I just continue, and I'll even say sometimes there are people every time we have a special, like they've reached out to me, I've sent them information, then either they don't answer me or they'll answer me 3 months later or whatever it is. I send them every time we have a special, I make sure to send it to them. And there are some people I've been doing this for 2 years, if not longer, and I'll even say, you know, I'm still sending you these because you don't ever tell me to stop, even though you never answer me. So if you ever want them to stop, let me know. And still, they'll still ignore that. But I've given them the opportunity, you know, because I'm like, I don't want to drive them crazy, but I just keep sending it and thinking, well, you know, one day the timing's going to be right. One day they're going to be so unhappy like I was that it's going to be the right time for them. Or, you know, I've had people refer people to me because I've sent them something and they're kind of wishy-washy, not sure if it's for them. But then I'll have their friend call me and say, hey, you know, Susie sent me this info because she heard me talking at work about an issue I'm having, and you had sent her info about Plexus, and she thought it might be a good fit for me. I have that happen all the time. So I just continually follow up with them, reach out. I may, you know, instead of following up every week, then it kind of turns into every 2 weeks, and then it kind of turns into a month, and then some people it just turns into whenever we have specials or, you know, randomly here or there. I'm not going to waste a lot of time if they're ignoring me, but I still try to keep in touch with them. And, you know.
I agree. I agree not to take it personally, that oftentimes it has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. I have had people who I thought, oh my God, I'm driving her bonkers. And she'll say, oh, I'm so glad you didn't give up on me because yada, yada, yada was happening and I just wasn't able to think about it, you know? And that happens to me. The other thing is you can use language in your follow-up that's pretty strong, but that can get them to respond. Like, I know you're not trying to ignore me. Things like that. I mean, that's pretty strong language. And the first time you do it, you feel a little sick to your stomach that you're being kind of pushy like that. But you can say, I know we haven't been able to connect on this, but yada, yada, we're having a special or we're having a 7-day challenge. It's an easier way to get plugged in. And then the other thing that I have found is that some people do not want to take the time to learn how to order on our computer system. So if you can make it easier for them by offering your support, like, hey, maybe it would be easier if I just ordered for you. Some people don't want to do e-commerce. I mean, even it's surprising in this day and age that they don't want to put their credit card online. So order it for them and let them pay you. You can do that. Just make it easier for the people who seem interested, never say no, but you just can't get them off the fence. And then the other thing that I did early on was I would incentivize it sometimes, like, okay, especially towards the end of the month, if I was trying to reach a goal, I would say, if you order as a preferred customer and order the triplex, then I will do A, B, or C, you know, like I'll throw in a bag of P96, excuse me, something like that. So you can, but don't do that unless you can afford it. And that's part of your business model. There's no need to spend money trying to get people to buy product from you. So totally agree with all of that. Not, and especially not to take it personally, because most of the time it has nothing to do with us. All right. This question is from Melissa again. Do you have set business hours each day? And if so, how do those hours fluctuate when your kids are out of school for the summer? We're all going to be dealing with that soon.
I do not have set business hours because I feel like that would hamper me more than help me. I know some Jewels and Diamonds do that because they're able to say, you know, I'm available from 9 to noon every day and then 6 to 8 or whatever. My schedule is so erratic, you know, with 3 girls doing different sports, and, you know, sometimes they're on sports, sometimes they're off sports, sometimes my husband works late, sometimes he doesn't work late, you know. So I kind of feel like I'm able to work when I can work. You know, there are some days that I have to be home because a repairman's coming or something, and I'm going to work that entire day. I'm not going to say, oh, these are my office hours, you can't contact me. So it's not something that I have done. If you feel like it's something you need to do, then absolutely encourage it. But just because I don't have set business hours doesn't mean I don't set boundaries. And that's where a lot of people get confused is, you know, in the beginning when I had 6 or 8 people on my team and everybody was reaching out to me and I was answering everybody, it was great. It was not a big deal. I could answer every question. I didn't make them research anything. I didn't push them in any certain direction. I didn't care if they were my level 1, 2, or 3. But as your team grows and, you know, I'd have 1,000 people and 2,000 people and 5,000 people and 10,000 people, if just 10% of those people ask me a question each day, I can't work my business. I can't do anything else except answer questions. So you have to learn to set boundaries and, you know, and redirect. What I really like to do, I'll sometimes get a level 9 will send me a message and say, hey, can you tell me the difference between boost and accelerator? And I'm thinking, well, don't we all have that information available to us, right? And why they would ask me when there's 10 people between us is I tend to redirect them to a strong upline. You know, maybe their direct upline joined 3 days before them and they don't know that much more. But I will start if they message me in Facebook, I'll start a message with them and usually 2 of their strong uplines. And I'll say, you know, hey, Susie and Mark and Michelle sent me this message and needs a little bit of help. And could you guys help her out and help her find this answer? And that way it does a few things. It connects her with her uplines and they know what she needs help with because apparently she's not going to them, or sometimes that person will message all 9 of us the same thing. It redirects her so that she knows if she asks me a question again, I'm more than likely going to send it to Susie and Mark. So why doesn't she just ask Susie and Mark, like, you know, is kind of the ideal plan to begin with. And then it doesn't overwhelm me by just answering, because I could have easily answered that question, but I'm not doing anybody justice by doing that. You know, I'm taking time out of my day and away from my team members that need me more for a few more important things. And then I'm not helping her figure out how to research and find things out. And I know in the beginning I was huge on researching. If I had a question, I never asked anybody unless I had probably researched it for a day or 2 and couldn't find an answer. Because I feel like when you research something, you're in charge of what information you receive. Like when I would research, I knew what was out there and what I could use and what fit my situation. If I asked my upline that question, she gave me whatever answer she wanted to use or she had. And I was limited to that knowledge. So I always recommend that everybody research on their own when they have a question. And even if you ask your upline, I tend to research, figure out what I would say, and then say, hey, I have somebody asking this question, what would you say? Or this is what I found, would you say anything different? But teach your team members to research, teach them to go to their direct upline. Sometimes there are situations, like I said, sometimes their direct upline just joined a few days before them, or they're not working the business or whatever it may be. So there are special situations and circumstances, but And I really encourage everybody to research and do as much as they can on their own, because it's only going to benefit them in the long run.
I agree. I remember thinking, oh, I think Hayley's hit the big time, because you did a training. It cracked me up. You did a training on when somebody would text you and they would say, hey, I have a question. And you'd be like, just ask me the question, like,
right.
Like they would say, I mean, that adds like 2 steps to the process. And I'm like, oh, she's hit the big time.
No, I mean, I cannot tell you how many messages I have that said, hey, do you have a minute? I need to ask you something. Yeah. And I'm like, instead of me having to say, sure, go ahead and ask, and then say, okay, just ask the questions. But I am very direct, and like I said, I don't feel the need to go beat around the bush. Let's just go right through.
Right. I agree. Okay. So this question I didn't prep you for, like I didn't tell you I was going to ask it ahead of time, but first of all, do you have any idea what the big reveal is about? And what are your thoughts on the future of Plexus?
I will tell you that any people that actually know what the big reveal is have signed a confidentiality agreement, so no one will tell you whether they know or not. Let's see. But if you're not registered, even if you are not planning or able to be at the live stream, I know some people have weddings and graduations or whatever, get registered, because those that register are getting a special offer. So make sure you're registered. Even if you're attending a viewing party with 20 other people and you're not going to utilize your actual live stream link, get registered so that you get that special offer. And then what was the other one about the future of our company?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on where Plexus is headed?
I'm really, really excited for this big reveal. It should be business changing and really, really incredible. Something that everybody's going to want in on, or so I've heard. But I really, some people are like, oh, well, this whole direct marketing thing, it's just, these businesses come and go. Well, I've been doing this business for 3.5 years. I've been getting paid really well for 3.5 years. And I have friends at strong brick and mortar companies who have been laid off in that time frame. And maybe they haven't worked at a company that long. So I kind of try to look at the whole business as just as solid as anything else out there. I mean, my husband's in the military, and if you can say job security for one thing, it would be the military, right? But we haven't got paid twice already, and they're talking about another government shutdown, or they were the other day. So, nothing is guaranteed in this business. Our company is strong. I know our executives. I know that they only do things that will bring success and will better us. They are not shady in any way and don't do things just to make money. I know their character. I know Alec really well, and I've gotten to know him over the years, and I know his family. I know how he is. I know, a lot about him, and I trust him wholeheartedly and his decisions. And I know that they're working for our success as much as they like to keep us happy. And they like to keep us successful because they know that's the best thing for them. So I have no doubts in how great our future is. I know we've been going through a few little growing pains here or there, but I see my friends in other companies that are dealing with similar issues or have dealt with similar issues. And it just seems like those that hang in there through the obstacles always come out better and stronger and much more successful. I kind of feel like, and I hate it sounds kind of harsh, but I kind of feel like when we have these obstacles, the people that it turns off or turns away, we're just kind of weeding the garden. Mm-hmm. Because if people leave for other companies, or they decide that they're having back office issues, or this bothers them or that bothers them, I'm kind of like, see ya, because if they get that offended or upset over something like that, they're not going to last in this business a long time, because I could go on for days about things I've had to deal with and had to overcome. And, you know, that having anything in life great isn't easy. We all know that, right? So, you know, just having to deal with obstacles and issues, it's all part of life. And sometimes the worse those are, the better it comes out on the other side. And I know. So I feel really good. I'm really excited about this. I'm super excited about convention. If you guys are not going, oh my gosh, please, please, please consider it at least. It is amazing. It is business changing. You will learn so much just being around the culture and the people and the speakers. I mean, you can see recordings of it later. You can talk to people about it. You can be on recap calls, but you'll never have that experience unless you go in person. And it makes a huge, huge difference in you and your business, in your faith in our company, in your culture, in just everything.
Yeah, I wouldn't miss it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, any corporate event is definitely worth the sacrifice to get there. And they treat us so well. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Entertained, and you get to see all your Plexus friends, which, you know,
so much fun.
Yeah, you know, we're on different teams, but the culture of One Plexus really exists, especially when you see it like in person at convention, and everyone's nice and gets along. It's wonderful. Well, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk to us. Does anybody have any questions for Hayley, just being after listening to the things that she had to share with us? Just unmute yourself and ask, or raise your hand, or anything that y'all want to say. Okay. Well, oh, Carissa. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Trying to unmute. Okay, I'm unmuted. My question is, there's different motivators for people. Everybody's motivated differently. And I'm motivated way differently than a lot of the different people that I've come in contact with my 300 people that were on my downline in my last company to now where I'm starting to build fresh with Plexus. And something that really motivated me was like a scavenger hunt. So I started the scavenger hunt, and it was like, take a picture of you and any Plexus product, and or not you, whoever you're talking to, and any Plexus product. You know, so it could be like you and your kid's teacher with a Plexus Slim packet, and just as, you know, it just gives an opener for somebody to be like, hey, I'm in a scavenger hunt, can I take a picture of you with this product? And then you give them a reason to talk to them about Plexus. So that's something that really motivated me with my last company. So I tried to start it, and like nobody's, you know, intermingling in it and stuff like that. And I thought it was going to be like so motivating, and everybody's going to be involved, and nobody's participating. So something like that. What are some other ideas on maybe to help motivate my team? Because it is starting to grow pretty quickly. I'm really excited, and I only know what motivates me, and it's hard for me to find other motivators for people.
Yeah, we've done stuff like that. We did scavenger, you know, well, it was take a business picture with a business card, but it was different. Like, you had to go to different types of places. Like, one had to be a restaurant, one had to be a service place and stuff like that. And but it's been a long, I totally forgot about that. It's been so long ago. And I usually do stuff like that for events, like, you know, day one, you have to do a selfie with the crowd or stuff like that, which is fun. But you're right, it doesn't motivate everybody, and it's hard to motivate everybody. I would recommend that you connect with your runners and ask them what motivates them, and have them take the color personality test, because that to me was huge. Because I'm red, and like I said, I was like, oh my gosh, look at all my money, look at the car, and I'm going to Hawaii, and doesn't everybody else want some of this? And some people were like, no, I don't care about that stuff. But that's what motivated me. Some people are motivated by the fun, by going on the trips and seeing the people and being social and all that, you know. So figure out what motivates them, and then you can kind of gear things more toward the majority. If you have, you know, and I tell people all the time, I'm red. A lot of my friends are not red. And why is that? Because my non-red friends look for people that have those characteristics that they don't have, right? You usually look for complementary friends. You know, if I hung out with all red friends all the time, we'd probably be butting heads because we're all pretty blunt and to the point and direct and, you know, competitive. And so every time we got together for dinner, we'd probably have a contest about something. But when you have a wide variety of friends, you know, I probably have a lot of yellow friends and a lot of blue friends and a lot of green friends also. So you kind of have to alter that.
And is there an image or a link to that personality test where it kind of shows you what you are and what other people could be?
Yeah.
And it'll even show you percentages of how much you are of each thing.
I'll share.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Another one is Strength Finders, and Hayley just sent me that book. That's a really good one too. I'm not all the way through it, but it's an eye opener, and it can be a very strong team building tool.
Yeah, because you find everybody's strengths. I actually have mine on my computer, and they're deliberative, focused, strategic, relator, and responsible. Those are my top 5. So, and, you know, and I don't think anybody that I sent the books to all of the people I do coaching calls with, and I don't think anybody's have been exactly the same on that. So it's been awesome to see what everybody's come out of.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that, Krista. Anybody else? All right. Well, we're going to wrap up. Perfect timing. Thank you so much, Hayley. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry I'm in my son's room, but it's the best. We get the best Wi-Fi in here.
I think it's cute. It makes you a real person.
With this giant dog back there. Yeah. All right. Well, you all have a great day. We're going to do, for the big reveal, we're going to kind of watch it on, we're going to watch it. Everyone will have whoever wants to will have a link to it. And then we're also going to be Zooming at the same time. I think that'll be possible. We'll see.
Yes,
Figure it out. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. And everyone have a great day. And I'll follow up on some of those questions that you had, Carissa, on our team page.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Hayley.
Bye. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Bye.